Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good night, and welcome to Jazzy Conversations. I'm Teef.
And I'm Gigi.
And we're excited to be here.
Listen, thanks for checking in.
Welcome to Jazzy Conversations. I'm Teef.
And I'm Gigi.
Yes, you are Gigi.
Hey,
we're back for another episode.
What's up, brother?
So today, we're bringing on an amazing young man.
Yeah.
He's running for mayor. Mm-hmm. Everyone around the world knows what's going on with that mayor situation in Bridgeport, Connecticut. He's also the chief of community services in Norwalk, which is an amazing city. So I'm excited to have him, first of all.
Yeah, hear a lot about his story.
Absolutely. Very articulate. I love his swag. I love his journey. And so you're going to get a chance to experience it.
Great. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. But before we begin, we're going to bring him on in a few minutes. I got 3 questions for G. Just 3 questions.
Okay.
All right, G? G.
Yes,
First
sir.
question off the top of my head, and you guys play as well. I want to know, the world want to know,
The world.
what's your favorite coffee?
Oh, that's
Before you
easy
answer,
for me.
favorite coffee, okay. Tell me your absolute favorite pair of jeans in your entire life. Favorite pair of jeans. And tell me your favorite holiday. Simple as that. All right?
Yes.
Those 3.
Okay, those 3.
All right.
So my favorite coffee, very easy, is Bustelo Café con Leche.
Ooh.
I like my coffee light
Now,
and sweet.
Okay, there you go. Light and sweet.
Light and sweet. That's how I
Gotcha.
like it.
How many sugars?
I don't want to say.
Okay. You better not say up here, girl.
I don't want to say. I don't want to say.
And this girl's a health addict. She's like working out and everything.
I like to be healthy, but I like my sweets.
All
and
right.
my coffee is light and sweet. So
Okay.
that's my favorite.
Gotcha.
Let's see. And my favorite pair of jeans.
That you've ever had.
Yeah, you know I'm a dress lady. Anybody that knows me knows I like dresses and skirts.
Well, when you were young.
But let's see. When I was young, I don't know. I told you, Teef, I didn't have like name brand stuff.
So what?
I don't
What was
know.
your favorite
I don't know.
that you've ever had?
I don't
in
know.
College.
They were
high
some.
school?
I didn't have money in college
DoorDash,
either. Let's see.
Sassoon,
I
what?
see. Look and see. He calling me out. I didn't have Jordache. I didn't have Vidal Sassoon. I didn't even have Lee's.
She had Alexander's.
I had Alexander's and Caldors.
There you go. So, okay, that's it. We'll leave it at that.
That's what I had. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know, but
Okay. And what was your third? What was the third?
the third question. Let's see. What was that?
What you got me thinking? I'm
I
just
know. Look, I'm a
off
mess.
the top of the dome.
You
okay,
said
do you remember what it was?
My favorite pair of jeans, my favorite holiday.
Favorite holiday.
You said, and my favorite holiday. It's not really a holy day, but I do really like Thanksgiving. Because it's everybody in my family has it off. We really make an effort to come together. We love food. We love dancing. So Thanksgiving for me, that's in the box.
All right.
Yeah. How about you?
Favorite coffee.
Favorite coffee.
Cumberland Farms.
Okay.
$1.38.
Okay, Cumberland
Hey,
Farms.
listen, I go get my Cumberland Farms. Favorite.
You make me feel bougie because I do mine in a Keurig at home.
Yeah. Women, you guys are, listen, a friend of mine made me laugh where a comedian said, listen, Starbucks? Oh, yeah, that's a women's store. We laughed so hard when he said that because if you look at the Starbucks line, especially out here,
and it's all women in there.
all women in
That's
that
funny.
line. So,
all right, your favorite pair of jeans?
Favorite pair of jeans I've ever had will possibly be my Sean John back in the day. Love Sean John. And favorite holiday, without a doubt, will be Christmas. I love Christmas.
I do. I love
It's
Christmas
just the
too.
songs before, the snow back in the day, of course, the presents and everything. But I think for me, forever in my mind will be going to the mall downtown.
Yeah,
or Milford,
the
Chapel Square Mall in New Haven,
Mhm.
Connecticut, or Milford.
Yeah.
And I used to always hear Wham! Last Christmas. That's in my mind. It can never be erased because that's what we heard. Last Christmas. The Wham! Version.
I know the version.
And they would play it
I'm
over and
cracking up.
over. And that's our childhood. You can't say you didn't hear it because if you grew up in that era, that song, Wham! Was listen,
you know
Last
what?
Christmas.
And that's what they're playing now.
Yeah, but there's a remake.
The
original version with George Michael. That was the Wham.
Well,
So
it is Christmas time, Teef. So
it is Christmas time. Let's enjoy it. All right. So with that being said, we got an amazing show for you guys today. I hope you guys are ready. You ready? Here we go. Welcome to Jazzy Conversations. I'm Teef.
And I'm Gigi.
And G, ladies and gentlemen, we're so excited to have Lamont Daniels on the screen. Mr. Lamont Daniels, welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
How are you all? Thank you so much for inviting me and having me.
Oh, we're so excited to have you. Now, everyone that's tuning in from around the world, please, you guys probably heard of the mayor race in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Well, Mr. Lamont Daniels. Well, Mr. Lamont Daniels is on the ticket. He's one of the people. So please, we want your support from wherever you are, however the support goes, but especially in Connecticut, especially in Bridgeport, please go out and support Mr. Lamont Daniels. He's also the chief of community services in Norwalk, Connecticut. All right. So this is amazing. I know you have an amazing story.
Yes.
We're so excited to have you on the show.
We are. And just so that y'all know, we're not promoting voter fraud.
No.
Right?
No.
If you're in Bridgeport.
Hey, I'm clean here. I'm clean.
I know that's right.
You wouldn't be on the show if you weren't.
But if you're in Bridgeport, show your support.
But if you're in Bridgeport,
yes.
We have a lot of support for you. We're so honored and happy that you are on the podcast. Thank you for coming on. I believe, and I want my partner to hear your story because I think you have an amazing story.
Yes,
you created a nice platform for yourself coming out of Bridgeport, which is the largest city in the state of Connecticut. So we have a lot of people tuning in. Please stay on from California, South Carolina, Philly, Ohio.
Hear how Connecticut does it.
Yes. And so get used to that name. Feel free to Google it. Lamont Daniels, running for mayor in Bridgeport, Connecticut. So Lamont, we're going to start at the beginning. Is that okay with you?
Please. Absolutely.
Okay. So let's go back to the beginning. So where were you born and raised?
So I was born in Stamford. So I'm Connecticut reared my entire life. Born in Stamford, Connecticut.
Okay. Now, elementary school in Stamford.
Yeah. So I was born in Stamford. I went to school. My grandmother moved us to Bridgeport when I was around 16 years old.
Okay, gotcha.
But born and raised, elementary school, public school, all Stanford. And I graduated still from Stanford Public Schools.
You did. Okay. And I asked what it was like growing up in Stamford. I have cousins that thought New Haven was, lily white and nothing else happened. So what was Stamford like growing up?
Yeah, well, it was diverse. So I recall growing up in Stamford, maybe a third, and also depending on where you live, because in Connecticut, and now the fact that you have global audience, we still have kind of neighborhood school districts. So you go to the school in which the district you live in. I know that has changed a lot. So where I lived, it was a pretty diverse, community neighborhood. So growing up, a pretty mixture, a little bit of everybody in high school and elementary school and so forth.
Nice.
Now, high school, did you start out in high school at either Stanford or West Hills? Did you?
Well, that's a great story. So my grandmother moved us to Bridgeport when I was a junior, and I cried like a baby because I wanted. Who wants to start differently, right? It's even a whole other city. So the administration, my grandmother advocated for me. So they let me finish school in Stanford when I was a junior. And then my grandmother's employer, her boss, let me live with them, during my last year, my senior year. So I lived in Stanford Monday through Friday, but home was Bridgeport. I came home every weekend so I could finish my junior and senior there. But here's a story about my school. My school no longer exists.
Oh, wow.
I went to Rippewam.
Oh, okay.
I never heard of it. Never heard of it. Wow.
Yeah, so Rippewam was a high school. Then they closed it down because of the population decreased. And so growing up in Stanford, I went to one of the first magnet schools in the state. So it was a citywide school. And I'm dating myself. I'm actually 51 years old.
We are right on your heels, brother.
Absolutely. I love it.
So you had the interview to go to the school. And so my graduating class was like 100 students.
Wow.
Oh, my.
But my diploma says West Hill High School.
There you go.
But I went to Rippewam.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, Lamont, what kind of student were you all through the years?
He couldn't have been too bad. They would have said, no, we don't want him. We don't want him.
Listen, I take pride. I was a good student.
There it is. I knew it was coming.
I was, and here was the rule, because I moved back and forth. I often say I'm a proud grandparent raising a grandchild. So shout out to my grandmother, who was no longer with us, but my grandmother raised me, and my mother did too. I went back and forth, but there was a rule in our house: you better get good grades. So, I wasn't a perfect kid, but I made sure that rule I always kept. So then I could be a little sneaky in other places.
Now, did you play any?
I was a pretty average B student.
You play any sports?
I did not. I was, we can see I'm talking with my hands. So I joined the drama club. So High School Musical, all that stuff I did. But here's a good story, though. So for the prom, although I was in the drama, I was prom king. I beat all the football.
Okay. Don't we recognize that?
Okay.
So I still tell that story today to my wife. Listen, I was prom king.
You know who you with? You know who you with?
We salute.
You better recognize.
I absolutely love it.
Listen, I don't even fully know the politics. Please vote for this man. I love your energy is amazing.
And the funny part about it,
thank you.
Gigi did drama in high school as well.
I sure did.
So in New Haven, we had a place called ECA, and Gigi would be able to leave school early.
Yes, I did.
And go down to ECA for drama.
I sure did. I loved it. And you see, I'm holding my hand, so I don't talk with my hands. I don't want to knock over this mic. I understand.
Absolutely.
Yes. So we, instead of doing that, they built the entire school. So we had our academics there, and then we went into our it was like 3 pathways. There was the arts and communications pathway, science and technology, and then business and technology. So the school no longer exists in the way it's done, but there's a lot of STEM programs and so forth. But this was one of the earlier, innovative approaches of really tapping into young people's strength. Because one model doesn't fit all learning. So I'm all hyper talking with my hands. So this was definitely a way for me to build my confidence and be the person that I am today.
This is beautiful.
Do you use all of the drama and the theater and those? Do you use that in your life? Yes, sir. All of it.
I'm comfortable speaking. There was a time that I wasn't. So although I didn't, and I had aspirations of wanting to be an actor, but then it shifted very quickly, realizing that these skills help me in so many other ways. Because I'm also a licensed clinical social worker, so I no longer practice, but I used to be a clinical social worker. So, being able to connect with people, these skills just help me in so many ways. And then I'm very dramatic, and used to work with kids a lot. And talk therapy is not always the best way. So we do a lot of creative and theatrical play with kids to express themselves. So it's definitely afforded me to have a unique style when I'm interacting with people, especially when I was a clinical social worker.
This is beautiful. So Lamont, we graduate from high school. I go to the University of Findlay, which is the podcast is on the podcast. Gigi goes to Temple, which we're on their podcast list as well. Where do you go to school after graduation?
Yeah, it's amazing how we all have a whole bunch of stories. So I had an amazing drama teacher, and she said, "You're going to Howard University."
Okay.
And this is, hope you don't mind me like talking about God, because God just opened up a door for me.
We never mind that.
This is who I am.
You better.
And she made a phone call. And that's why it's important, relationships and connections. And then my grandmother used to say, it pays to be nice, because you never know who's going to help you.
Never know.
So my drama teacher opened up this door, but I didn't go. No shout out to Howard. I didn't like it.
Oh, okay.
It is, but it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. Yes.
So it wasn't for me. So then I came back home. I went local, went to University of Bridgeport for my undergrad. And then for my master's, for my graduate program, I went to Fordham University. And then I got another master's. I also have my master's in public administration. So I got another master's right here up in New Haven, University of New Haven, in their MPA program.
Go ahead.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So God blessed me richly. God bless me.
Absolutely. So listen, University of Bridgeport is an amazing school.
As
so
is
please say it with pride.
A report. Yeah, it's growing. The new president, Goodwill College, has acquired it, and I actually had an opportunity to meet with the new president. She's amazing. And be on the lookout for UB. I mean, always had some good programs anyway.
Yeah.
But under her leadership, and now with Goodwin College acquiring it, it's doing some she's doing some really amazing things. So shout out to UB, shout out to Fordham, shout out to UNH.
All those shout outs.
No, seriously, absolutely.
That's right.
You have an amazing story. So okay, so what does it look like? You graduate with your second master's. What's your next step after that? How do you go into politics?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I worked at an organization called Casey Family Services, and here's that New Haven connection. They actually moved downtown on the Green some years ago, and it's a child welfare organization. So I worked primarily in foster care, adoption, and then birth family work when we really promoted kids should be raised at home. And so that's my foundation, working in child welfare, trying to get kids back home, working with family. So I did all that for years. But what made Casey unique was we knew that there was a direct correlation between practice and policy. So while as a clinician, I'm working day to day with clients, but we know if the policies weren't family friendly or pro-family, how much can you do? So I got interested in the policy side and worked with a wonderful mentor, Sania Metzer, who's now attorney back in New York. Learn how the policy works. So I started working in Hartford, working with our legislators. And that's when I really knew this is where I want to be, because it's the laws and policies that can make a big impact on society, on people, especially us, because especially in Connecticut, I often saw many kids look like me. I could have been one of those kids, but my grandmother said, no, my grandson is not going to foster care. I'm raising him. But I could have been one of those kids. And so that passion just, lit the fire on me. And when Casey afforded the opportunity for me to work on the policy side of social work, I said, this is where I want to be. And then my career just built working in policy, working with legislators. And then the next wave was definitely politics. And so I said, I want to run for mayor of my city because I'm tired of the direction that it's going.
Yeah, wow. That's beautiful. Let me ask though, because there's a big jump from being an implementer, sort of first line, to doing politics. Like you were an implementer, and then you moved to doing policy. What was that like when you were actually engaging with families, engaging with children, to jumping to the policy side? Did you miss anything? How was that transition?
No, that's a great question. I didn't miss anything because early on, as I began to work with families, a good example is, the judge rules that in order for birth mom, and usually tend to be, women, who unfortunately, maybe was addicted to substance use, would make a recommendation that this mom needs 8 weeks of substance abuse programming. But there was a waiting list for like 6 weeks.
Wow.
So the clock was running out. So it wasn't that the mom didn't want to, get herself together and comply with the rules. The system wasn't designed so mom can get better. Yeah. So that's where I knew it's the system. We need more people, particularly people that look like us, in politics, in government, and where the policies are set so that when mom has an opportunity to better herself, the system is embracing her. So it wasn't a big jump.
It really fuels it. It sounds like
the fire.
Yeah.
To say, listen, we need more people at the policy level. And so, but the experiences working with families every day really catapult me to want to be in this space because, we have a lot of people on the front line, but we need people at the systems level as well
that understand those barriers. That's brilliant. I love that.
For sure.
Look at the passion he's talking with.
Listen, it is contagious.
I love what I do. I love what I do. And I often say, I believe so heartily that this work shows me I didn't choose it. And I really believe that. I really believe this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And when you find what you're doing, the energy just comes naturally.
I agree.
Because I really love what I do. And my wife knows it. She's a big fan of what I do. And she's actually a social worker too in New Haven.
Oh,
right.
So it's all in the family.
All in the family.
Big shout out to the wife. Big shout out to the wife.
Absolutely.
Baby.
Have it no other way. Yes.
You better say it or you'll be in trouble after this one.
you tell the truth too.
I love it. I love it.
So can I ask?
Ahead,
So what if a young person was interested in politics? What would you tell them that are some of the pitfalls that they should be aware of? For example, young person think I could be mayor, right? What would you tell them is sort of the pitfall along the way to avoid?
Yeah, that's a great question. First, I would say you can do it. That's number one. Mm-hmm. You can do it. Yes. I think the pitfalls, and boy, that's a loaded question.
I know.
Leave it up to Gigi.
That's right. Leave it. I think the pitfalls. Is really being true to yourself. Yeah. Have your own standards and principles and beliefs. Mm-hmm. Because I've learned now being a candidate that people will pull you in so many directions. The people around you are not necessarily always for you. They're out to get something or want something. Choose your friends. My wife always laughs at me because she goes, "You're the only one that interviews their friends." And I do, because my life is valuable. Mm-hmm. And if you can't speak strength in my life, I don't want you with me. If you can't believe what I believe, I don't want you next to me. And so, so I really prescribe to that philosophy. But for anyone that wants to be in politics, hey, I've learned some terms. All money ain't good money. Okay.
Yeah, you got to say no to some money. That's right.
No is not a bad word.
That's right.
And reputation matters. Mm-hmm. Reputation matters.
Oh, good. Sound advice.
Some things that I've learned as a candidate, but I would encourage anyone. I think that's we got to get, I'm 51, but we need that 20, that 25, 30, 40. We need you right now. Mm-hmm, we need you to speak up. You all have so much to offer. We need your voice. Attend your local city council or common council meetings. Get on a board or a commission. Run for a local board. We need that voice. That voice is missing in our community.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Well said. Well said.
Now, G, I don't want to be in politics.
Okay.
But I love your values and your morals. I love it. Yeah. In regards to if you're not,
we don't talk about those two together.
Absolutely. If you're not bringing,
which they're really inseparable. Like if you think about they should be.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. If you're not bringing positive energy, I don't want you around me.
Listen.
So I like.
That's right. That's right.
That's beautiful. So okay. So now, please tell the world, how does that look when you and your wife sit down and you say, "Babe, I think I want to run for mayor." How does that look? Because I know you had to run it by her.
That was a hearty laugh.
It actually was easy, Well, I met my wife on a blind date, and I say that because, when we met, and again, I'm old fashioned. So I introduced her to some of my close friends. I introduced her to my local pastor because this is who I am.
Yes.
So before you say yes, you need to fully understand, because the goal is, I have baggage, but I always say this, I have to be honest and true to her. So once you know my baggage, then you can make a real decision. Yeah. It's unfair to someone to get married and then the baggage.
Then you take off the mask, right? Yeah.
And that's just how I've been raised. I'm an old soul in a lot of ways. So, and she kind of knew. So really, it was one night I said, "Honey," I said exactly like this. I said, "I think I'm supposed to run for mayor." Wow. And she just, calm said, "Okay." I kind of knew it. So I said, "Well, why you ain't tell me then?"
I love it.
Because when you follow the thread of, I believe in mentorship. I believe in, talking to people, talking to our elders. So I have a good foundation. When people have taught me, when you look through the thread of your life, I started at 19 as a Mayoral volunteer. So I was doing public service right at 19 years old.
Yeah.
Then I became a social worker. That's giving back, public service again. Mm-hmm. So my whole life,
service,
the thread. Mm-hmm. So for me, it was just naturally to say, doggone it, I want to become mayor.
Absolutely,
look at that.
Absolutely.
I love what he said. I think I'm supposed to run for mayor. Like this is, I'm not meddling with the idea. Like I'm supposed to do this.
Absolutely.
I love it.
And so right now,
So
your hand is right in the pot. Your hand is right in the pot.
yeah.
There's
It's a lot going on right now.
it's a lot. Now what does that look like? Is it December 12th? Was it pushed back? I thought I read that somewhere.
Well, now it's January.
Oh.
So, to your point, as you shared, unfortunately, and this is really about the city, not even about me in the sense that, Bridgeport is Connecticut's largest city. And unfortunately, I'm disgusted. I've been watching, experience this as a resident. Let's put the politics aside.
Mm-hmm.
As a person of color, I don't know if people know, Bridgeport is 84% Black and brown.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge.
It's huge.
And this scandal has hit this city. And now we've made national news. Elon Musk has tweeted it. It hit CNN, and it was in Seattle Times. And so the judge has invalidated the mayor's election. So everyone else that won their election in November, they will be sworn in on December 1st. It's the mayor's ticket that was invalid. Mm-hmm. So the judge just ruled the election, the primary redo is in January.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And the new election is in February.
Oh my.
So what happens between now and then for the people of Bridgeport?
Well, we don't have an elected mayor. I mean, so I just learned yesterday that based on our city charter, that the current mayor, he can hold that seat until another mayor is elected. So he will be mayor. He will not be sworn in on December 1st, but he will be mayor until the new election, which is the Democratic primary. And I'm not on the primary. I didn't make it. There was a process to petition on the primary. You had to collect 2,033 signatures from Democrats. I was 36 signatures short.
Oh my goodness.
So, but to petition in the general election, that's a smaller number. Yeah. So we were successful because I had a plan A, B, and C.
You better.
I want to be the mayor.
Right.
So we petitioned ourselves for the general election, which is how I got on the ballot as an unaffiliated candidate, and I was on line F. And almost 2,000 people voted for me in my city.
Oh my! Yeah. That's Lamont. That is absolutely beautiful.
It's tremendous.
Now let me ask you this question: if you are voted mayor, what would that look like for the people that's living in Bridgeport, Connecticut? As Lamont Daniels being the new mayor of Bridgeport, tell me what would that look like?
I dream about this every day. Number one, you would have a mayor that's going to put our children first. Mm-hmm. We always talk about our children are our future. Well, in order to really believe that, we have to invest in our children. Mm-hmm. Number two, right now, Bridgeport, the last report I read, we're like 100 police officers short. We need to develop a strategy immediately to build morale, really revisit the union contract because our benefits are not good, which is why police officers, we have our own police, what is it called? Our training center. Mm-hmm. They come to Bridgeport, they get trained and they leave. So we need to relook at the benefits and the morale for the police department, because based on our population, about 148,000, the research suggests we should have an additional 100 police officers. Well, that's going to impact the quality of life for our city. And then the third thing, we need jobs. Mm-hmm. We need real economic development. Bridgeport has an amazing past. We were the, manufacturing capital on the Northeast, Remington Steel, GE, it's all gone, but there's no vision to figure out what do we do with these large factory buildings. Mm-hmm. Well, I plan to look at that, bring the right people at the table, and let's dream. And let's put Bridgeporters back to work. Yes. It's a heavy lift, but with the right people around you, it can be done. And I believe that's just not happening now under this administration, which is why I decided to run for mayor.
I love it.
Lamont, your passion comes through.
Your
passion
straight through the vibe is there.
It really does.
It so awesome.
It reminds me of a coach that wants a job so bad that they're saying to the AD, if you give me this job, I promise you, I can turn this program around.
Yeah.
That's the passion
That's it.
that you bring across the screen.
That's
So
That's it.
I love you, Teef. You always got a sports analogy.
yeah, I mean, because he's like, I just feel that's
We're
what he's saying.
artists. No,
Yes, you guys are artists, correct? Right? I think I am too, but you guys are as well. But
I see a director for a play, and I'm like, God.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
That's
So
right.
Lamont, tell us
Yes.
what you got going on now. So what else? I know you're the chief of community services in
That's
Norwalk.
right.
In
So-
Norwalk.
So, in Norwalk, and I love Norwalk, and really that also kind of led me to this point where in Norwalk, things are happening. Norwalk is Connecticut's sixth largest city. Right now, we're at almost 90,000 people,
Wow.
and it's a diverse city as well. And things are happening, and so Mayoral, the mayor, brought me in. I oversee the entire health department. I also oversee the human services and social services department. And then they also added on the library system.
Okay.
So I'm in government. I'm working. I have about 100 employees that I'm responsible for, and I oversee a budget of almost $12 million. And I love because I call these departments. This is the heartbeat of the city, the health department,
Right.
the human service department, where our youth services,
That's
our
right.
senior services, our social service department, helping residents navigate different services and resources to help them better themselves. And I really enjoy working with Norwalk because under Mayor Rowan's leadership, he's given me a lot of autonomy. And I really appreciate that and innovation. For example, we just launched a $500,000 program to help Norwalkers pay for their rent or their mortgage for those who got set back because, I've been there for 5 years. So I was there when COVID happened, so we were creating a playbook in real time. So
that's tremendous, by the way. Like that's not something to breeze over. And I hope that the people in Norwalk are aware of that. That's a tremendous help and benefit to people that are on the cliff. Right? It's beautiful.
Yeah, for sure. And as a social worker, and I have an amazing team, my health director, my human service director, and my library director. But what I'm proud of is that, under Mayor Rowan's administration, I always remind him, I say, Mayor, you hired a social worker. And I say that because it's about people.
Yes.
And I feel very proud every morning driving down to Norwalk because I know good things are happening in Norwalk under my leadership. And so, to your point around COVID, a lot of people haven't bounced back.
Right.
A lot of people are still struggling. And so, in Norwalk, we're being innovative or I'm pushing our common council for more money because we have to care for our most vulnerable. We have to care for our children, our seniors, and for residents who don't have the resources. And I just love it. I'm not saying it because I'm there, but I've just been overly impressed that Norwalk always rises to the occasion to take care of its people. And I just love waking up doing that every day.
I tell you what, I'm sitting back and I'm really enjoying this conversation. Let me explain why. You and I, from the time we met, we connected. As soon as we saw each other in the room, we went right to each other and we connected. I've always been blessed, to God be the glory, to have that relationship of connecting. But listening to you speak, you and my partner have so much in common. I mean, so much with your backgrounds and everything.
Yes.
And I'm going to have to pass her number on to you offset as well.
Yes.
Because as she listens to what the things that you got going on
I'm
and
listening.
the things you do, that's what she does down here in the city of New Haven as well. And
wow.
Yes. So I'm sitting back and I know the wheels turning in her head because
absolutely
she's a Renaissance woman. She touches a lot of areas.
Absolutely.
I love it.
And I love it. And I'm like, okay, we're only a year apart. Gigi's like looking at herself in a male type role to say, this is what I do.
I'm not running for mayor. Listen, I just want everybody to know.
For mayor.
But listen, in terms of what you're talking about with policy and making things change,
yes,
somebody's got to do it. We have to look at what that is.
About.
Yeah, you're right.
It is bigger than me. I often say I'm just a vehicle.
Yeah.
Especially in my city. I want young men of color to see that it can happen.
Yes.
You got to work hard of it. Here's another saying I often say, again, from my grandmother. I don't know if she made it up or not, but I heard her say it. The only time the word success comes before work is in the dictionary.
Yes.
Old school.
Yes.
Old school.
Well,
I love
that's
that.
old school.
You have to work.
And they last. They last.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, I've laid out the foundation for my life. I believe in having a plan. And even these conversations, networking, following that, kindred spirit. All this matters because we're community people. I think sometimes we forget that. You know, it's not an I, it's a we. Turn that M up to a W instead of me. Make it a we. It's we. It's all of us.
Listen, come on.
Listen, I love it. Oh, she just came from church. And she and Gigi just came from church as well.
That's all right.
This is beautiful. Lamont, this is an amazing interview. We want to thank you for coming on, but we're gonna have you back, okay?
Yes.
And anyone that's watching this interview, please, Lamont Daniels, he's from Bridgeport. You heard his story. Do what you feel like you need to do. He presented his case, why he believes he should be mayor in the great city of Bridgeport. So you'll have the opportunity in February to either go in there and press yes or no. Okay?
That's
but
right.
On behalf of Jazzy Conversations, Lamont,
man.
I'm Teef.
I'm Gigi.
We want to thank you for coming on the screen. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Thank you. We'll talk soon.
Take care.
Have a good one.
Have a good evening. Take care.
Got it.
Man.
Oh, the passion.
Teef.
That was a good.
Listen,
I saw you. I saw the wheels turning.
Like a powerhouse.
I told you he was gonna like him. I told you he was gonna like him.
He's awesome.
Yes, and we're gonna have him back.
Please.
And I'm gonna give you his contact information.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting back as I'm smiling from ear to ear. I said, he's another Gigi sitting on the set. I mean, I just love connecting people, and I'm like, you do your thing. With
positivity, want impact, change. I loved it. I love it. Yeah.
Listen, G. Another episode in.
I love it.
Next week we'll be back.
Next
week is gonna be a beautiful one right before Christmas. I'm
excited.
excited.
I'm super excited about
baby.
I
don't want to say.
Right. Okay.
Anyway, listen. On behalf of Jazzy Conversations, I'm Teef.
And I'm Gigi.
Have a great night, guys. Take care.